What am I going to play today? It's been a while since I've played some Football Manager. It must have been a few weeks at this point. Oh. It's been 5 months. What the fuck has happened? Well, I guess we've got some catching up to do. So yeah, I did kind of disappear a little bit there, didn't I? I'm not going to go into it now. I will do a little clip at the end of the video if you do want to know about that stuff. It's not terribly exciting. It's more just other games and illnesses. But enough about that for now. After a manic transfer deadline day, we've had a whole bunch of new signings we've got to get you caught up on. And then we'll be going on a little trip to the Racecourse Ground because Chelmsford Town are taking on Wrexham. So let's just get straight into it. So it has been an incredibly crazy 2 months since you were last here. We've played through quite a few games. We've done much better than expected, I will say. I know obviously that first game in the last episode really did, it was the perfect start we could have got off to for this season. But I really didn't think that momentum would carry on. And while we haven't been, winning matches 7-0 or anything even close to that, things have generally been going pretty well. But before we go over the recap, I am going to go over a couple of new signings we've got in the squad, actually. Starting on the screen, because you might see our wage spend has gone up around 5,000, and with the wages we pay for players, that's a considerable amount, to be honest. I have gone a little bit crazy with some positions and maybe not crazy enough with others, let's say. We have also got this Habib Razak Hound. That's probably not at all how you say his name, but we'll just look at him first. An Ivorian centre-back, looks absolutely incredible, potentially Premier League standard. He's only 18 years old. He's going to be joining us. Well, once his contract with SEC Mimosas runs out, he's going to be with them until the end of that because we've got a loan back on him. But then our transfer window isn't open yet, so he hasn't officially joined us yet. It's a whole thing. But yeah, he should be with us next season, ideally. But apart from that, we have, as you can see, we've signed quite a few players. Adam Robb was the last signing that we went over in the last video, who has become probably one of our first choice right backs. Him and Wintersgill have been sharing that role quite nicely. But we have gone a little bit crazy there, and you might also see the return of somewhat of a club legend. Our top scorer from last season, the man who carried us through League Two. We finally managed to work out a deal with Sheffield Wednesday. 100,000, so he has become by far the most we've ever paid for a player, although that could change depending on Mervyn Kidd's future. But yeah, let's work through these one at a time. We might jump around a bit just because there's a few that play in the same positions. But anyway, it all started off with KD Clulaw joining on a free transfer after being released from FC Dordrecht in the Netherlands. Okay, I didn't actually see where they were from. He's okay. To be honest, I brought him in when there was absolutely zero options available. He's played one game for us. He's been okay. Well, it was a sub appearance, but still, he's definitely not terrible. As a backup option, I think he's going to do a job. But obviously, he joined as our second choice left back behind Nathan Hughes and has since dropped down to a third choice, probably, because Roger Wilson has also joined, who is, to be honest, just a better player. The 19-year-old Jamaican was released by Everton at the end of last season. If we compare the two of them, you can just see Roger Wilson is just a better player, pretty much all round. Katie's got him very slightly beaten on physicals, technicals and vision, but in everything else, it's very comfortable on Roger Wilson's side. So he's almost definitely going to be our second choice left back. As far as other defenders go, we've got Mervyn Kidd who's joined, who is a centre-back or a right-back, one of the two. So, I mean, Mervyn Kidd is not quite ready for our first team. He has got bucket loads of potential. He's looking like he could be a very good option for the future. And I figured 80,000, considering the insane financial position we've managed to put ourselves in lately, it just seemed like a relatively good deal. 13 under 21 caps for Northern Ireland. We are paying an extra 40,000 when he reaches 50 league appearances, 120,000 when he gets 10 internationals, 6,000 per game. There was a lot of things I had to chuck on there, but I was just going a little bit mad, to be honest. And towards deadline day, going a little bit mental. As you can see, all 4 of these came in on deadline day, and these 2 also came in a couple of days previous to that. But Mark Bailey here, who's coming in as a backup right back. It's probably going to be third choice, I want to say. But again, a lot of potential, young kid, pretty good physicals. Felt like he was going to be a relatively good option for us. Plays best as a wing back, but he probably won't be required in that. But this just sort of means that, if we need to play Christy Winterskill at centre back, we've got basically no problem at all at the right back position. Guy spent 3 years in the Chelsea Youth Academy, didn't actually play for them, but still very happy with that addition to the squad. Gives us a lot of depth. Moving forward very slightly from that, we've got Eric Millington, who's going to be giving Osman Foyo a bit of competition, I want to say. Now, this one is a little bit weird because he's rated all the way down in 9th on the ability tracker, but then, I mean, Foyo's rated at 10th and he's a first teamer. I think the problem is you've got attacking midfielders and defensive midfielders all being compared to each other. But he does look very good in the required stats. And if we compare him to Osman Foyo, you can see that, to be honest, Millington does edge this. You know, Foyo has got him beaten on technicals and very slightly on vision. But apart from that, it's pretty much all Millington. And, you know, Osman Foyo is our captain and probably one of our most long-standing players at this point. So he's definitely not going to be out of the squad, but it does mean we have got a very good backup. And sort of does push, I will admit, Scott Mullin, is it? Scott Mullin is probably not going to get as many games. I mean, Scott Mullin is as good as Foyo, realistically. Whenever we actually put him in the team, he doesn't really perform. But now we've got very good depth at that option. Another midfield option we've had joined is Miles Harris. Now, this is a bit of a problem because he's joined after the deadline day. So he's not actually available to our league campaign until January when we can register new players. But he was on a free transfer. He had a little bit of interest about him. So I figured I might just throw my name into the hat as well. Annoyingly, as is always the case when we get someone who we can't register immediately, he's coming in as our highest paid player, £700 a week. But, you know, best role is a Mazzala, great passing, long shots, technique. You know, he's got no yellow stats. He's got a couple of grey stats, but pretty much everything is solid across the board. And, if I compare him to, I don't know, a Boyang, let's say, it's very close. And Pat Harris is just much bigger, 6'2". So he's also going to be very useful in the air. But yeah, overall, I thought he was a very good addition to the squad. And then we've also had 2 strikers join the squad. And obviously, if you watch the previous episodes, well, the end of the Football Manager 2023 episodes, Bailey Tykanamatri is no stranger to you whatsoever. Oof, look at those improvements across the board. He's a 24-year-old poacher. He's actually coming in as one of our oldest players. But he was with us in League 2. 34 games, 21 goals and 6 assists, 8 player of the match is 7.35 average. Absolutely fantastic for us. He won the Golden... Did he win the Golden Boot? Or was he just our top scorer? I think he was just our top scorer because that Dackers for Southend won the Golden Boot. But yeah, I was a little bit worried about striking depth. We actually had a squad meeting where all the players were kicking off about there not being enough depth in the striking positions, which I didn't really agree with. But we put in an offer for Bailey Tykanamatri and also for Dylan Munro. And we brought these 2 in and have let Lennon Wielden go. He's gone to Newport County on loan. So yeah, Bailey Tykanamatri looking very good. Dylan Munro is like sneakily one of the better players in the team, I want to say. He's rated as the 3rd best striker, and I don't quite get that. I think he might because he's lacking a few bits like work rate and decisions. Passing isn't brilliant, but 15 passing, 13 finishing, 12 first touch, 15 acceleration, 14 pace, great agility, great balance, great composure, technique. Like, he should be a very good player for us. Oh, and he's actually the highest. He's up on £800 a week. So yeah, I didn't actually realise I'd given him that big of a contract. That was all in a bit of a deadline day haze, let's say. But I think he's definitely worth it. He's still one of the lowest paid players in the whole league, realistically speaking, because of how little we pay our players compared to everyone else. But yeah, I think between these 2, Galbraith, Barbrook and O'Neill, we are more than covered for striking spots. We have got a fantastic 5 options for those 2 positions in pretty much every game. As far as outgoings go, there's not really any major ones. Bobby Dunn is probably the biggest of them. Well, Lennon Wielden's gone, but we've already mentioned that, and he wasn't really getting any game time anyway. Then you've got Bobby Dunn has gone to Chelmsford. He was very much falling by the wayside last season. I think he played 30 games last season, but we have brought in quite a lot of strikers, and towards the end of last season he was very much surplus to requirements, and with him being recommended as our 14th best midfield option, I think that's pretty clear that it's a good time to get rid of him. But anyway, enough about transfers, let's get on to the recap. So obviously in the last episode we managed to beat Crawley Town at 6-0 in the first game of the season, and we definitely carried that momentum forward, going straight into the Carabao Cup first round with a 5-0 victory over Exeter with perfect 10 ratings for both of our main strikers in the game. And after winning the game 7-0, confidence was flying high as of the fact that 50 seconds into this match, Buster Barbrook gets on the end of this Galbraith pass, slots it in the bottom corner absolutely beautifully, 53rd second of the game. Confidence never got low, quite frankly. I was 100% certain we'd got this in the bag, only for 15 minutes later, Barbrook to grab a second and really just cement that lead. Then on the 33rd minute, a long ball over got flicked on, and Galbraith got at the end of it and rockets it into the far side of the net. Before, in the 42nd minute, grabbing another one, when Barbrook burst forward here, passes inside. Galbraith managed to beat the offside trap and score. And then in the 61st minute, we grabbed it our fifth. But Barbrook secured his hat-trick. A nice little pass through from Galbraith here, in behind the back line. And Barbrook smashes it past Schofield in net. So just an incredibly dominant start to the season. And that set up a second round tie against Watford. And we might as well get that game out the way as well first. We lost 3-1 to Watford, unfortunately, in the second round of the Carabao Cup. Watford are still a Premier League team in this. So I was over the bloody moon when we went 1-0 up in the 14th minute. When a nice little bit of possession at the back, we got a nice ball over the top. O'Neill ran on the end of it, got it inside to Galbraith, who pops it in at the right-hand side of the net. And that was a brilliant start, but it was one of those games where, when they equalised here in the 44th minute, right before half-time, a nice little pass-through from Edwards, you just knew the second half was not going to go our way. The momentum had switched. This guy, that I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name, Brkljaca, nope, managed to score a nice free kick. And then Valeas, Strike, and yeah, back to Valeas, yeah. Managed to smash it past and bang it in goal. So very disappointed to be knocked out of that cup, but hey, we managed to get one round further than we did last time, I think. So that's a positive at least. I mean, going toe-to-toe XG-wise with them is pretty much the best takeaway we can have there. I do think switching to this formation might have been a mistake because we're always at our best when we're really going at teams. So going for a much more defensive formation might have screwed us here, but you know, they're a Premier League side. You can't really blame me for being a little bit scared of them. But in between those two games, we did actually have two league matches that we won both of. The first off was a 4-2 victory over Burton Albion. This game was kind of crazy. Well, this first half was kind of crazy. 4th minute of the game, 5th minute, ball comes to O'Neill and he puts in a beautiful curled effort into the far top corner. What a finish by the main man there. And then just 7 minutes later, ball comes on the right-hand side. Winterskill gets it into Casanova. Ball comes through to Barbrook. Rockets it in the bottom left. Before 38th minute, they get one back just before half-time. The first slight twist of this half. It's Divine rockets it past on bang it in net. But then there was one more twist as Barbrook goes on a lovely little run here in the 42nd minute. Goes past everyone and puts it on a plate for O'Neill in the middle. But then there was yet another twist when a Burton throw in the 43rd minute, 44th minute, whatever, gets passed through. Very nice little passing play there, and O'Dorka comfortably slots it in the bottom corner. But then yet another twist when this defensive mix-up here falls to Wintersgill, and he just volleys it into the back of the net. A very good victory there overall. Can't complain. We absolutely dominated that game. I felt like we were quite unlucky to even concede the 2 goals we did. But, you know, we walked away 3 points, and that is all that matters. And we carried that momentum into a nice 2-0 victory over Birmingham City, a club that I actually support. So this one was a bit of a kick in the teeth, although I don't really know who any of these players are, so that always helps. But a goal either side of half-time secured this one. First up, a nice little play from Galbraith and Edgerton down the side here. Gets the ball back and rockets it into the far side of the net past Vickers in net. And then in the 49th minute, Casanova with a lovely ball through to O'Neill. Gets it back inside to Casanova again, who just comfortably slots it in between the keeper and the defender on the line. So yet another relatively comfortable 3 points. And we somehow, yet again, carried that momentum forward to another big win. A 3-1 victory over Southend United, a team that I suppose we performed pretty well against them last season, but they absolutely bossed the league that we were in. But this time around, they did not stand a chance. A little defensive mix-up in the 4th minute gave us the lead, when the ball comes out to whoever that is in the midfield there, but either way, Galbraith cuts out the pass back. Pat gets it to O'Neill, who rockets it in the right side of the net. And then just 3 minutes later, Bojan gets the ball here, Rob gets the ball here, puts it in the middle to Casanova to finish it past the keeper with a relatively comfortable finish on the edge of the 6-yard box. Took it till the 67th minute for us to grab our third. Lewis gets the ball through to wing here with an absolutely beautiful finish into the top right corner. And then in the 89th minute, Southend did get a goal back. When the ball comes through to Former here, comes off the inside of the post, and Mojo is the first. Mipo is the first one to react and manage to score the goal. But, I mean, you can see from the XG, I mean, they did nothing up until that point. And then their entire game's XG basically came from that one shot from 2 yards out into an open net. So it does sort of show just how dominant we were. And then skipping over the Papa John's Trophy for now, I am just going to say we went on an absolutely terrible run of form this season. 2 games in a row without a victory. It was honestly embarrassing. And this first game against Carlisle was very annoying, to be honest. This was a game that it felt like we absolutely dominated. I mean, they got a very early goal in the 2nd or 3rd minute. Ball comes in here and Lecco just sort of stabs it in. and we were all over them for so much of this game, every highlight. But then, luckily, a Foyo interception let Cadamartri put Munro through and managed to rocket it past the keeper on the near post in the 81st minute. And we managed to nick a point. Yeah, I mean, you can see from the XG, most of their XG came from that very early goal. We had all of these step-ups, and pretty much all of these step-ups felt like they were a highlight. 2.95 XG, and we just about managed to nick a goal late on. It was not a good time. I was going absolutely mad at my screen throughout this match, and even more so during the next one with a 3-1 loss against Barnsley. However, with this game, it didn't really ever feel like we deserved to win. We just weren't really creating all that much. Start of the second half, they get a nice little goal into the bottom corner here. Karoma scores it. And then 15 minutes later, after a bit of context, Sam Batty had been kicking off and he had some player support that he wasn't getting enough game time. So I thought, you know, Barnsley, they're like mid-table. They're below us. We're better than them. We'll give him a game. Why not? And then this shot ends up deflecting off his back and going into the net. So, yeah, not brilliant. Luckily, in the 67th minute, Barbrook picks it up here, gets it into a Chinga, puts it into Galbraith, who just comfortably slots it into the bottom right of the goal. But then, in the 90th minute, when we were going pretty much very attacking, just desperately trying to get a goal, they come up with this absolute worldie of a finish. Gone past Ombang at the speed of light, Herbie Kane. Yeah, that is Herbie Kane, not Harry Kane, just for the record. Are they related at all? I don't think so. No, just a coincidence. There's another H. Kane in English football. But when we're down, we don't stay down for long, ladies and gentlemen, because we bounce out with two very nice victories, the first of which over AFC Wimbledon. 1-0 here, Kevin O'Neill in the 20th minute. Nice little goal. A wing gets it on the outside, well, Wilson gets it on the outside of the box. Bursts in, puts the pass in, and O'Neill just scores from within the 6-yard box. Very simple little goal for us. And then the Coventry game, we started off in the 34th minute, where Rob goes on a very long run, gets the ball inside to Wing, who just very comfortably curls it in to the right-hand side of the net, before a Rob corner gets headed in by Galbraith. It was just a very nice and clean 2 victories there. There was not really any pressure against us in either of them. Followed that up with a 2-0 victory over Oxford. This one was a little bit strange because they massively outperformed us in this game. Luckily, we did get 2 very, very quite weird goals this first one. Ball comes in, it gets sort of flicked up in the air here by O'Neill, and the defender and keeper just have a bit of a mix-up and it just goes in behind them. I think the keeper sort of punched it in by mistake. Before Foyo here gets the ball to Casanova, Rob gets a nice pass through to Cadamartri and he rockets it into the far side. Cadamartri of last season coming back to help us. And that secured us to 3 points there. And the last league game since then was a 1-0 victory over Portsmouth. This was the kind of game where you really felt like you were going to get FM'd at all opportunities. We scored in the 20th minute, but like as you can see from the XG, we were constantly all over them. Like, it was ridiculous how many chances we were getting, but they just never really bit back at us. 20th minute, yeah, Wing gets the ball. Nice pass in here to Casanova, who comfortably finishes past the keeper, and that's all she wrote for that game. Yeah, I was just living in fear that they were just going to get one awful deflected shot late on and manage to scrape a point from it, but no such luck. And with that, we find ourselves still top of the league relatively comfortably as well. I say relatively comfortably. We're 4 points ahead of Carlisle in second, 5 points ahead of QPR in third, at the top, who are top of the playoff positions. Obviously, a top 2 finish would be what we're aiming for this season. But with how this has started, we've scored the most and conceded the least in the league. So I'm cautiously optimistic. We'll have to see. And we have only improved ourselves throughout that transfer window. Although, one major downside I will say, let me just quickly run this clip. God, it looks like Football Major 2024 has finally struck me. Darrell Mang is going to be out for 5 to 6 weeks. And I didn't manage to get another goalkeeper. I think not Port Vale, you can get fucked. And also, Stephen O'Connor's out for 3 to 6 weeks. This has been like the worst in-game week. I feel like Ombang only got injured. Yeah, here. 4 days later. Oh, God. So yeah, that actually happened in between the Gillingham game and the Portsmouth game. So Portsmouth, we had Jardine starting in goal, which was a little bit scary. Popperton's Trophy games, we're going to go through them when they start getting a bit more interesting, because these early rounds have just been, well, not a joke as such, but, you know, we won it last year, so it's not as important. We'll wait till the knockouts before we care about that too much. But yeah, that just brings us to today's game against Wrexham, and it's obviously going to be quite a tough match. Although I say that, if we look at the season preview, they're down to 18th and we're up to 8th, actually. So we are relatively likely to get into the playoffs as far as this is concerned, which I mean should be the case realistically, considering how we've started the season off. But yeah, this game is in 2 days in game time, so I'm going to get through those and we'll pretty much jump straight into it unless something else comes up. Pretty amazing stuff here, actually. In our first month in League One, our team's managed to win all 3 positions in the Young Player of the Month competition. We obviously had Boyang winning it with Kevin O'Neill and Buster Barbrook very close behind him. Player of the Month, we only got second and third. Marcus Dacker's come back to bite us again after, he's keeping up his goal scoring form from last season. But I also won Manager of the Month. So that's absolutely incredible. Oh, look, I click continue once and something else has come up. FA Cup first round draw. We might as well have a look, see if we're up against someone worth showing in a video. White Hawk in the Isthmian League Premier. Yeah, I think I might skip that one. And so it is game day with what I said before in mind. We're starting Jardine in net, Hughes, Edgerton, Griffiths and Rob across the back. Foyo is the ball-winning midfielder, Boyang and Casanova as the Mazzalas, with Achinga in front in the in-gun role. I'm trying out these two this way round because Achinga has not really been performing as I would have liked him to as a Mazzala. And to be honest, Casanova has gone missing in a few games as an Engunch, and they could both play the other role very well. So I figured we'd try it like this. And we're starting with O'Neill and Galbraith up front. I probably mentioned it in the intro, but I am still a little bit coffee. So if suddenly crowd noises have cut out during this match, then it's probably just down to the fact that I've had to pause it for a second, just so you're aware in case there's any weird audio bits. So let's just get into the match. Have they got anyone that I know of? Paul Glatzel, ex-Liverpool youth, I want to say. I do sign him. Well, I have signed him on previous Football Managers, at least. I think we need to go out there and show everyone the recent praise is justified. I got faith in you. I got faith in you. Everyone is inspired. Absolutely loving it. Right, Wrexham are lining up in a 4-4-2, and we are in a standard 4-3-1-2, as always. Let's just get straight into the match. I have actually been playing with a different skin and meant to change it for this game, but it's just quite ugly when it comes to matches. And I need to keep looking for other skins, but that's not important right now. Right, we're in the 11th minute here. Hughes throw in. O'Neill gets the ball back to him, but Hughes puts the ball into Galbraith. O'Neill gets the ball. Oh, that was such a nice little passing play if just someone was coming in off the edge of the box. But now we've got Griffiths and Rob coming down this right-hand side. No, Foyo inside. He managed to run through everyone. Little Lionel Messi, I swear to God. It just gives the ball away. Never mind. Little play's quite messy. Griffiths coming along the back. Just don't lose the ball there. Thank you very much. Hughes tries to cut inside but gets cut out. Now you've got Hearn rushing forward. Glatzel picks the ball up. He's going to put it out to the left-hand side. Ballinger with a beautiful pass through to Hearn. And it comes out off the post. My God, we really got away with one there. O'Neill's chasing this ball down, though, and it looks like we might be able to break here. Although he's slowed right down. If he'd made that quick pass over towards Galbraith, we might have had a chance to counter that. We've got a Rob throwing on this near side. Galbraith loses the ball again. They are like really on us here. This is crazy. We've got ball comes to Glatzel. Back to Hampton. Oh, we lose there. Foyo picks up the ball. Got Galbraith still on net potentially. He puts a shot and the keeper tips it over and it goes out for a corner. Right, Rob is about to put the corner in. There's a little leg shake on the way up. That looked a bit weird, but it doesn't really matter. Ball came out to Boyang, and now Rob goes to put one back in, and the highlight ends. So I assume he made a mess of that. 26th minute now. Edwards puts the ball out to the edge of the box for Ballinger. Thomas has a shot. And it rebounds off Griffiths and then off the inside of the post, I want to say. Yep. I can't really put that down for Jardine. That is so unlucky that that's managed to go in. Let me just... wait a sec. How do we do this? Yeah. So he has a shot here. Bounce off Griffiths. Yeah, not a fan of that, but that's just a very unlucky turn of events. Let's drop a quick shout. I'm just going to encourage, try and get him going a little bit. Everyone is buzzing off that. That's good news. There's been no highlights for like 20 minutes, which just feel a little bit weird. Should have waited till half time and see where we're standing. Right, do we want to make any changes? I don't think so, really. No one's been, outstandingly bad. Casanova's been missing a little bit still. I'm going to swap those two back because they're in different roles to where they normally are. And that worries me a bit because neither of them are particularly performing in this role either. Oh, God, a Wrexham corner just after half-time, 46th minute, but Jardine collects that lovely Lily. And he goes for a long goal kick up towards Achinga, but he doesn't manage to get the ball. But Casanova picks it up, gets it up to Boyang. Galbraith, can he get the ball out wide there? No, he can't. Foyo instead. What? What was that pass? Sorry, I was so shocked I literally choked. That was the worst pass I've ever seen Foyo attempt. And obviously, he'd give the ball away a lot of times, but he managed to win it back here. And that's what matters. Please just don't do it again. Why are we dwelling on the ball so much? Hughes to Foyo, and he makes a successful pass. The third time's a charm. Boyang looking to come forward. Achinga is going to make that happen. Is he going to get the ball through? He is. Galbraith gets it to O'Neill. Was that onside? No, I don't think it was. That looked like he'd just gone a bit too far forward. If the pass had gone straight to O'Neill, that would have been perfect. But instead, Galbraith took a touch before he passed it on himself. And he was off by that point. Let's make a sub. Foyo appeared to lack belief, but he's having a good game. He's the only one that's having a good game. Do we want to change anything? I'm thinking I might take Boyang off. No, I'm taking Achinga off. I'm just looking like, what? I've got this dilemma here. The lowest rated midfielder is Achinga, but he's the best condition. You've also got Foyo, who's doing the best, but is in medium condition and is in a bad body language. Or you've got Boyang, who's in a pretty bad condition, is doing mediumly okay. This is, oh God, what do you go with? I think I'm going to take Boyang off and we're going to put Danny Wing on. I'm also going to take Hughes off and put Chima Aliu left back, I think, because he's motivated and that's going to be my deciding factor. We're going to give it 10 minutes or so and see if we need to make any other changes. 61st minute, an incredibly long throw in, just goes straight to Jardine. That's what I like to see. Drops the ball and chips the ball forward to nobody. Brilliant. Edgerton picks it up though. Casanova and Galbraith to go forward. Wing gets the ball into Casanova. Out to O'Neill. He's one on one. Ah, was it offside anyway? No, it wasn't actually. It's just going straight out for a corner. The whistle just went too quick. I thought, oh God, he's already pre-prepared that. Yeah, the ball comes in. We're attacking it, but we can't quite get there. And it gets cleared away by Wrexham. Right, 70th minute. Let's make some big changes, I think, because this really isn't working out. So we're going to bring Bailey Tycanamatri on. After that, we have got 2 more subs. What are we going to do? I think Achinga come off for Millington, but I'm actually going to bring Foyo over onto here. He's a bit more of an attacking player, I want to say, than Millington is, and can play that role. And then we're also going to bring Munro on for Galbraith. Fuck it. Let's change both of our strikers and see what these 2 lads can do instead. Shouts, demand more. Nothing seems to be changing. Okay, right. 78th minute. Aliu throwing on the just outside their box. Goes to Cadamartri. He curls it round. Oh! Bailey Cadamartri nicks his 3rd goal of the season. This is why we've got him back. What a finish. What an impact right after coming in off the bench. This is a very slow start to a kick up to a highlight here. But as soon as that ball comes inside Cadamartri and he's really across goal like that, outside of the box, curls it round the defender, round the keeper. Absolutely beautiful. There is a kick-off highlight though, which is a bit scary. Unless we get the ball back here, which we don't. Windsor gets the ball out wide. Ben Williams, maybe? It is Ben Williams. Windsor gets the ball into the box. A great block from Aliu there. I really was scared that was going to be a handball, but Jardine collects the 2nd attempt at a cross. Jardine dropping the ball and going, oof, gives it straight away, but Wing managed to get the ball back. If someone's going to make a run so we can maybe put a pass up. That works. Cadamartri picks it up. Gets a long ball over. Munro is through a goal. What a goal! Is that onside? It looks off. Is that flag up? Oh, that was such a good goal. I mean, it must be comfortable because they're not even showing a replay of it, but I'm so disappointed. And now, they've got a corner in the 85th minute. Of course. Is that Griffiths' fault again? He got the blame for the first one. Yep, he just doesn't go for it. I mean, I've made all 5 subs, so I don't know what I'm thinking I'm going to do. Right. I'm going to just go for it a bit. We've got Wing and Casanova up here. I'm going to do this. 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 Have these stick as far back as they can. Wing on attack. Cadamartry is actually a poacher, so let's not duplicate roles for no real reason. It's not going to make any difference. They're very attacking. Just try and get something back out of this game. Shout, encourage. Okay, everyone's happy, but now they've got another corner. Okay, doesn't... That was scary. And that is the end of the game. After last episode's highs, this definitely feels like a low. We had probably one of the... I didn't even see what I clicked then. We had probably one of the goals of the season ruled out after that pass from Cadamartry up to Munro. Although I might have to mix up my starting lineup because Galbraith has not been performing this season, it feels like. Excuse my squad view. I'm still working on this. But yeah, like top scorers this season. I suppose Galbraith has been better than expected. I feel like maybe he hasn't scored lots in the same games. I feel like he's not been as consistent as like O'Neill or even Barbrook or Cadamartry since he joined. But I don't know. But that's left us. We're still top. We are only 1 point ahead of Carlisle. So it's quite disappointing. We are probably going to come back. Where are people in the league here? Let's say... I'm feeling somewhere around here, but these are all like definitely bottom half teams. So we'll see where we end up, but we should be back for something around that time at the very least. We'll also have hopefully a second round of the FA Cup and probably a knockout group game for Papa John's Trophy around this time. So we might even come back to those, but we're going to have to wait and see because, oh God, the only other big game we've got coming on, I mean, we've got QPR coming up. That's big. But other than those, I mean, Peterborough 7th, Forest Green Rovers, I'd love to just beat them just to get my own back, but it's not enough to be worth coming back for on its own. That's more of my personal pet hate team right now. But yeah. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure when we're back, but if you do subscribe to the channel, you won't miss whenever that will be. And yeah, thank you very much for watching today. If you've enjoyed, maybe leave a like or comment down below. Let me know which of our newest signings you thought was the best, because I mean, Lord knows there's been enough of them. But yeah, any other feedback or comments or anything you want to drop down below, they really do help out both me and the channel a great deal. Like I said, subscribe to make sure you don't miss the future episodes. And all that's left to say is thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay, that didn't go well, did it? Oh well, so I did say I'd catch you up just a little bit if you do care. If you don't care too much about what's going on in real life, then feel free to click off at this point. But basically, I think it was a mixture of we had to wait a couple of months for the full release of FM24 to be able to import our saves. So I think I had a month or so off in between that just because I couldn't really upload anything. There might have been still uploads coming out, but I couldn't play at the very least. And then the game finally dropped, and I was enjoying it. I enjoyed what I played. I think I've got 20-odd hours in Football Manager 2024. Let me just check. Yeah, 27.9 hours. So I definitely was enjoying it. And I got those over the course of, I don't know, a week or so, probably. Like, I was playing the game a lot. And then I don't know about how many of you out there play RuneScape, but there is a temporary game mode that releases. It used to release once every year, and it's been, I think, 2 or 3 years since the last one. And then that came out over Christmas, and I always play them, and I decided I was going to go pretty hard on it this year, and that basically was my life for like 6 weeks, and that did really take me out of the game, I'm not going to lie. That was probably, I mean, I last played Football Manager on the 10th of November, and that took me from then until the end of the year, I'm going to say. And I mean, if it justifies it at all, I did get the Dragon Cup on there, which is the highest rank you can get, and I was very happy with myself for that. It's the first time I managed that, but not really relevant. And I mean, then we had a family death. I had a pretty serious illness. Well, I'll say serious illness. It was basically flu, but it hit me very hard, and basically both of my ears were completely fucked for about 3 or 4 weeks, I'm going to say. Could barely hear anything out of either of them. Loads of medication. Finally got them sorted. And then had a couple of weeks of being okay, and then came down with a pretty crazy flu once again, and then it's just been delaying this. I've been thinking for quite a while, I'm pretty sure I've got a Football Manager episode to edit, but I'll get to that as soon as I'm done with X thing, and then another thing would come up, and then another thing would come up, and then another thing would come up. We all know how it is. We all get distracted with games, especially my little ADHD brain. I cannot stay focused on one thing for long enough. But yeah, what have you been up to since I was last here? It's Oh, it's been far too long. Obviously, I've edited episode 2 down. You've just seen that. I have episode 3. There is one clip on the timeline that I'll be getting to soon. But I am actually just about to click play on Footy Major for the first time since November the 10th, 2023. So I've got a lot to get myself caught back up on. That episode did actually help, to be honest. I do remember what's going on now, but I don't remember where I got to in comparison to the next episode. So I'm going to get started on that now. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I'll see you in episode 3.